Hi everybody. So I was supposed to be a part of your alumni day, but because we were having technical difficulties, I didn't get an opportunity to make my presentation. So I'm making this short video for you so you guys can have access to the information that I was going to share with you. So I have a list of the things that you wanted me to address here. And we will start with the introduction. So my name is Rohan Grant, and I have a Bachelor's of Science degree in microbiology with a minor in plant biology. And I am currently doing a Master's of Philosophy degree in molecular biology, and I'm specifically focusing on the human gut microbiome for my research that I'm currently doing now. You want to know what it is that I actually wanted to do. Well, when I started the University of the West Indies, I had no idea what I wanted to do, none whatsoever. So I started university blind. Prior to that, I wanted to become a medical doctor. But as time progressed, I realized that I had zero interest in the medical field. And so I decided against doing medicine. And I did know over that I wanted to do something in the science field, and that it would most definitely be something biology related. So, of course, having started university, I took the introductory biology courses, and I also did microbiology and biochemistry courses, and probably a few others. Sorry about that. I was saying that I did the introductory courses: biology, chemistry, microbiology, and biochemistry courses. So during my undergrad, my first semester of undergrad, so my first semester of my first year of undergrad, I started looking at possibilities, what it is that I could do. I started testing the waters, and initially I was going to do organic chemistry, but then I eventually decided against that because of logistics. And I was introduced to genetics, and I was going to do genetics, but then I also decided against that. And then I started doing the plant biology part of the introductory to biology courses, and I fell in love with plants, of course, and so I decided I was going to do that. I did do it, but it wasn't my major. I decided to minor in it because, of course, I came across microbiology. Now, you would think that the reason why I chose microbiology is because of its many applications and the potential that such a degree has, but you would be wrong. Actually, why I decided to go with microbiology was simply because I liked the way all the names of the organisms sound. That was simply it, just the names of the organisms. And of course, I wouldn't encourage anybody to make such an important life decision simply based on something that trivial, because that was the only reason why I chose microbiology, because of the name of the organisms. I simply just liked how they sound when you see them. And of course, eventually, having studied microbiology, I realized how interested it could be, the many applications that such a degree actually has. So over time, I started liking it more and more for the right reasons, not only because of the names of the organisms. So that is just my little story of how I started doing microbiology. So I guess that concludes the introductory portion. And then you wanted me to see what it was like as an undergrad. So, as an undergraduate, when you first start university, everything will seem, it would seem as though that they're just throwing everything at you. Sure, there are a variety of people and places that you can go to get the information that you need, and so it makes it a little bit easier. But coming straight to the high school and just starting university will seem like a lot, and everybody faces that, of course, but eventually you'll get into the groove of what you're supposed to be doing. You'll know that you're supposed to be going to your lectures and participating in tutorials and labs, of course, and all of that. So for me, undergrad was initially started out kind of rough, but it eventually became a way of life, and you start doing what it is that you know you should be doing. And so undergrad wasn't all that bad. I had a lot of labs because I decided to that I was going to major in a course that had labs and minor in a course that also have labs. So every single day I had labs, and if it is that you're going to do something like that, you have to know to prioritize and work smartly as opposed to working hard, as they always say. I still don't know what that means, but you will have to develop strategies that work for you, and most definitely have a hobby, because you'll go insane. I can tell you that if you're doing 5 labs per week and you're 5 labs due per week, it can get pretty difficult, but you have to find ways to manipulate that and develop strategies that work for you. So undergrad was fun, but I had a lot of work to do, and once you put in the effort, it will be as easy as could be. And once you're doing something that you like as well, then you will not have a problem. Sure, sometimes it's going to get overwhelming, but then that is what your hobby is for you to de-stress. Me personally, my hobby was and still is writing poetry, and that always calms me. So you have to find something that works for you while taking the whole host of subjects and learning new information and processing new things. You have to find something that works for you. So as it relates to the MPhil now, what is an MPhil and how is it beneficial? So an MPhil is a Master's of Philosophy degree. It's a research degree. It's a master's, but it's 98% research. Yeah, because you have to do like a taught course initially. When you start the master's, you have to do a taught course that basically just deals with research methodology and good practices in research. So it's mostly a research-based degree. It's 98. I'm going to go with 98%. So for the MPhil, if it is that you're planning on going into research, this is the master's degree that you want to take, because you can just transfer from your MPhil right into your PhD. And if it is that you only want to make yourself more marketable, you don't really have any interest in research at this moment, then the MSc is what you want to go for. But as I said before, the MPhil is a research degree, and it is that degree that people take who are eventually planning on going into their PhD and doing research overall. So the benefit of doing this degree as opposed to MSc, if you want to do research, is that you get to transfer right into your research degree, right into the PhD immediately after completing your MPhil. And it is more robust, and you get your time to do your thing. I'm sure there's a time limit to it, but you do your research however you can manage to do it in small bits and portions, or as the materials become available, then you do your research that way. So it's kind of you have some freedom to do things how you want to do it, or at the pace that you want to do it. Where can you get jobs with microbiology or molecular biology degree? Well, as I said before, microbiology, it has applications in a multitude of industries. You can get jobs in food industries. You can get jobs in environmental industries that deal with the environment. You can get jobs in wastewater treatment facilities. It has a whole host. Food manufacturing, or not necessarily only foods, but also cosmetics. You can get jobs in pharmaceutical industries. It has a whole host of applications. So some of the examples locally, of course, before I say that, of course, with a degree like microbiology or molecular biology, you're not only going to be thinking locally, you're going to be thinking internationally. But for the local examples of places that you can work at, you have SRC, Scientific Research Council, I hope that's it, SRC, and you have BSJ, Bureau of Standards. That's another place that you can work. NWSC, of course, because they have a wastewater treatment plant, and you can work as a microbiologist in that specific area. And which are the local place? Any pharmaceutical company or any industry or company that manufactures foods or cosmetics, you can work there with a degree like microbiology. And also you can work in the agricultural industry for microbiology and molecular biology. Any industry that deals with gene manipulation, you can work in that industry with a molecular biology degree. And where can you volunteer or intern for these degrees? Well, basically the same places that I just mentioned. You if it is that they have a volunteer program of it, the majority of them will allow you to volunteer. As far as I know, I should say SRC and BSG would allow you to volunteer, but I think for the internship they have to specifically have an internship program, which I'm not certain of. Also, I know that there's no internship requirement for the microbiology degree for a BSc in microbiology. In terms of molecular biology, I'm pretty sure there is none, but I didn't do a BSc in molecular biology, so I don't know what the requirements are for that. One other thing I should touch on as it relates to microbiology before I forget, is that you must ensure that you know all the requirements for the degree, because times and times again people do what they think or what the handbook says, because the handbook that you get when you enter science and technology is not up to date. I don't know if they have updated it now, but for years it hasn't been up to date, so you have to go to the people who are responsible for the degree. And I can point out Professor Paul Brown, who is my supervisor now, and Dr. Sherlyn Brown. Those people will have all the information that you need. But I can also tell you that you must do the microbiology degree is a shared degree between life science and medical sciences. Majority of your courses will be over there, but you need to do courses from life science as well. So of course in your first year you do the introductory biology courses so they can do all subsequent courses. And you also need to do, I don't remember all of them off the top of my head now, but you need to do things like virology, which I think is in third year. You need to do immunology and parasitology. I think those are in third or second year. And I think those are the courses that you need to do. But yes, as I said, you need to do biometry as well, or any statistic course. But I did biometry and it's fun. So that's why I'm saying you need to do biometry as well. Plus it fits in well with everything else on your timetable. So yes, ensure that you know what it is that you need to do, so that at the end of the day, when you say you complete your degree, you actually have all the requirements, not just all the credit requirements, but all the courses that you need to do in order to successfully get a degree in microbiology. And as I said, you speak to people like Prof. Paul Brown and Dr. Sherlyn Brown to get all this information. Normally, Dr. Sherlyn Brown has a little poster on her door with the subjects that you need to do. So that takes care of that. Yes, I spoke on where you can volunteer. The same places that you can get work. You can volunteer there at those places. They won't turn you down. How marketable is the microbiology degree? Well, considering that the degree has applications in so many industries, you can just imagine how marketable such a degree can be, or how robust such a degree is. So, and as I said, you don't only think, when you get a degree like this, you don't only think locally, but I'm giving you local examples. So you don't only think locally, but the fact that microbiology has so many applications in so many different industries mean that this degree is extremely marketable, and it is the right choice to make, of course, provided that this is an area that you're considering, that you actually like. Then I can see that it is a good choice to make. Of course, other similar degrees under the umbrella of biochemistry like molecular biology and biochemistry itself, of course, or biotechnology, which is in technical under biochemistry. Those degrees have other applications as well, and when I say that they're more marketable than a microbiology degree, I don't know specifically as it relates to that, but those are areas that you can explore as well, provided that you like to manipulate things, and this is something that you enjoy, of course. Brief you on a typical day as a microbiologist. So, the typical day as a microbiologist. Well, you know that or you probably don't know. I don't know. It depends on which level you're at now. If you're a third year, you probably know by now that you are very intimate with flames when you're working with microbiology. You know that you need to ensure that you always sterilize stuff, and that you're generally just having good laboratory practices. And of course, this is right across the board. It's not only for microbiology, but speaking in terms of microbiology, there are things that you need to do in order to ensure that you're safe when you're in the laboratory environment. And you need to ensure that you're always wearing your PPEs, personal protective equipment, that you would know about as a third year. But your first year, these are things like your lab coats and closed-toed shoes. So a typical day as a microbiologist, minor interruptions. So yes, a typical day as a microbiologist, you would generally go into your lab, don your PPEs, and then of course it depends on what it is that you're working with that determine the PPE. But normally for us, we're working in level 1 microbiology lab, so we're not exposed to any very extremely dangerous pathogens. Nonetheless, you'll still protect yourself. So you'll enter your lab, don your PPE. Of course, wash your hands. It's very important, and way before coronavirus, it has been important as a microbiologist that your hands are always clean. You always wash them before and after doing your work, and you can of course apply your hand sanitizer and stuff like that. So you would go into your lab, you don your PPE, you wash your hands, and you get working on whatever it is that you are working on. If you're making dilutions and you're plating stuff, and of course there are three methods of plating. You have your pour plate and your spread plate and your streaking. And so yes, so you go into your lab, you make your dilutions if it is that you need to make dilutions, and you plate your stuff. And of course, prior to that, you need to sterilize your equipment. Let me say equipment, your apparatus. Ones that. All right, guys. Sorry about that. I was interrupted again. I was telling you about a typical day as a microbiologist. So I think I started telling you that you would enter your lab, don your PPE, wash your hands, and clean your workspace, of course. I didn't think I said that initially, but that's what you do, clean your workspace. And of course, you start working on whatever it is that you have to work with that day. So you'll get your materials, whatever it is that you're testing, and you would make your dilutions if you need to make dilutions, and you would have also made your media. You'd have make up your media from prior to starting your testings, because of course you have to sterilize these media, and also whatever apparatus you're using. And yes, so you make your dilutions, and you would plate your tests and incubate those, and that is it. For you normally incubate for 24 hours. Of course, it depends on what it is that you're testing. Normal organisms, those are okay to incubate for 24 hours. If they're fastidious or hard to grow, like a salmonella, for example, then you would definitely want to give those more time. But yes, so generally that's how the day goes. You enter your lab, put on your lab coat and stuff. You wash your hands, you clean your bench space, you get out whatever it is that you're working with. You plate your test, and you incubate, and of course clean up after that. And that is how it goes. A typical day as a microbiologist. The cost of the programs. I think that the undergraduate program, the BSc, costs 200, and I honestly do not remember whatever your school fee is now. That is the cost of it. I'm pretty sure it's not the same as when I started. It probably is a little bit more, but yes, so it's 250 something, I guess, for the year, and that is for the BSc. That is for science and technology, because you enter the university as a science and technology student, you get that for your degree, as a cost of your degree. I'm spacing, as a cost of your degree, $250,000 or whatever it is that your program costs now. However, so that's for the BSc. However, for the Masters of Philosophy degree, if it is that you were doing something in science and technology, like a biotechnology degree, for example, which is in science and technology, then it would cost the same amount as your undergrad. However, the microbiology, the biochemistry, and the molecular biology degrees, I should point out before I continue that there's no Masters of Philosophy degree in microbiology. It has not changed. There's no Masters of Philosophy degree in microbiology. So you can't do a MPhil in microbiology. But there's the MSc, which I will get to after making this point. So the microbiology, the biochemistry, and the molecular biology degrees, those are not in science and technology, even though you get a degree from science and technology in microbiology junior undergraduate studies. For the masters, for the MSc and the MPhil, those are not under the under science and technology. Those are under basic medical sciences. So your school fee for those degrees, let me deal with the MPhils because they're separate from the MSc. So your school fee or the cost of the programs for the MPhil in molecular biology or biochemistry, those will not be the same as science and technology, because as I said, they're under medicine, they're under the medical science faculty and the basic medical sciences. So those would be the same cost as for the medicine people, or 2 times that of what science is. So it's a little over $500,000. It's a little over that. But the good thing about the MPhil degree is that you do not pay. And that's the only good thing. That's one of the good things about it. You do not pay the school fee. So what happens is that if you're doing a Masters of Philosophy degree, then you automatically get entered into what they call a department. So with this, you would need to demonstrate or help facilitate the labs. So you would go to the undergraduate labs and show them what it is that they're supposed to be doing and mark labs. So you demonstrate, and they pay your school fee, and you get a stipend. So in terms of the program cost, if you're planning on going into research, that you don't have to worry about for now, because they'll pay your school fee for you, and you'll get a stipend. But of course you have to demonstrate, and of course you have to pay your own miscellaneous fees, which is generally, if you're an off-campus student, it's basically the same as what you're paying now for your miscellaneous. 15,000. I think I'm seeing it at 16,000 this year, but yeah, you'll pay that for yourself. And what else? Yeah, so you don't have to worry about the cost for the MPhil. Oh yeah, I was going to address the MSCs. Those completely different. You have to pay for that yourself, of course. And I think, don't quote me on this, but I think they're about $12,000 per year. 12,000 US dollars per year. 12,000 or 1,200. Oh my God, I don't remember. They're more expensive, and it's 12,000. Yeah, and you have to pay it for yourself. You have to pay that for yourself. So that covers program cost, and yeah, that was the end of the things that you wanted me to discuss. If you guys have any other concerns and what is that you need to do, you can always, of course, relieve those through your president, and I'll address those as well. But yeah, I can tell you that the microbiology degree is very lucrative. It has a lot of applications in a lot of industries, and you can do generally anything with a microbiology degree and a molecular biology degree. I will say that I didn't appreciate molecular biology during my undergraduate years, but I always say that in order for you to be a good microbiologist, you have to be firmly rooted in molecular biology. So it would be a good thing if you know both, if you want to do microbiology, because there are going to be times when the traditional microbiology techniques will not do what you want to do, or cannot, as you can't create or recreate the environment for the organisms that you want to manipulate or test or whatever it is that you're doing. And a typical example of that is with my degree now. I said in the beginning that I'm doing a degree in molecular biology, and I'm focused on human gut microbiome. You cannot recreate the environment inside of the human intestine outside. So for that, you would need to get access to these organisms via molecular methods. So I hope you guys found this presentation interesting and consider doing a degree in microbiology or molecular biology. So thanks for having me, and as I said, any questions you can relate those through your president, and I'll definitely answer them. Thank you very much, and cheers.